When I was at rock bottom, I didn't know that I was at rock bottom. And you can't really change what you're not aware of. And so it was like one of those things where it's like, can it get any worse? Bam! Can it get any worse? Bam! And I kept asking the question, can it get any worse? I didn't know that what I was asking was causing my life. So it was to the point where either I die or I do something about it, because there was so much stuff going on, and I'm watching all of these people be successful, and I'm like, I'm more talented than them, and I don't understand why I'm still in the exact same spot, which I didn't know was rock bottom. And then one day it just all came crashing down, and I was like, why am I here? I yelled out, eyes bloodshot red, and I still didn't know that this was rock bottom, but I've always focused on what I don't want. And I just remember saying, okay, I'm tired of fighting. I don't want to fight anymore. I want to be healthy. I want to be happy. I want to be surrounded by nothing but positive people. I just want to inspire people, and I want to make a bunch of money, but I want the money to represent something that I passionately believe in. Just show me a sign. Show me a sign. Show me. And I just kept saying it over and over and over. It wasn't until a week later until I met the man at the gas station, and he asked me for money. And he said, do you have any money? He's just like, it was a homeless guy. And he had a wad of money. I said, you have more money than me. And he goes, have you ever seen the movie Rain Man? The guy was talking to himself. The person did the exact same thing. He was like, change your mindset, change your life. Change your mindset, change your life. Change your mindset, change your life. Change your mindset. And then they walked away. And it was in that very moment, I felt like my whole entire life was a lie.
And once you had that realization and you knew, okay, I need to change my mindset, what was that first step?
Honestly, so the very first opposite thing that I did was the stairs. Normally I take the escalators because I'm lazy. I don't feel like doing it. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden it was like I had this little angel on my shoulder saying, change your mindset, change your life. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So when I came to the escalators, I'd be like, change your mindset, change your life. And then I would just do the opposite. Normally I would use gel soap. Change your mindset, change your life. So I use bar soap. And then, so I didn't know what neural pathways, I didn't know any of that stuff. I was literally like a baby that knows how to express himself only through gaga goo goo. So I had all these crazy results to my life that people were like, how did you do it? I'm like, But it wasn't until I started reading books and going to seminars so I could connect the dots going backwards. But I started with just daily things, just doing the opposite of everything I would normally do. I was just opposite, but that became my new pattern. So it was easy to make different decisions with the same circumstances when I had already built the muscle of doing the opposite. And that's how I even got into this entire philosophy. I stopped making a left. So I ending up in places where people who make a left end, and I turn a right. Whole different direction, whole different outcome. Met new people, different opportunities, everything, because it was an entire world I knew nothing about.
So as you're beginning to learn about neural pathways, and I'm going to ask this question in two different ways. As you begin learning about neural pathways, what are the neurological or the belief system things that you're beginning to change? And saying this is the exact same question but asked in a different way, what do you want to teach those kids that you can connect with that started where you started? I know you have the Youth Foundation launching this year.
Absolutely.
Like what is that like belief system mantra? I'm guessing is a lot more pointed than just change your mindset, change your life.
Absolutely. One, it's awareness. I had no idea that this world existed outside of projects, outside of, some of my friends with food stamps, outside of, we can't afford it. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. If you think about ABCs, the impact of ABCs, language. First there's gaga goo goo, then there's language, then there's the baby can now say ball, now there's sentences, paragraphs, essays, books, libraries. The impact of someone growing up in a struggled household where there's fear-based, insecurity-based, all of that, that's a form of language. most people don't know the language outside of that because they stay inside, watch the same TV shows, listen to the same radio station, hang around the same friends, never read books, and just follow wherever society says, do this is popular. Do this is popular. But never really think for themselves.
So going back to that language, which is really fascinating, I've never heard it explained like that, and I like that a lot. We can't afford this, we can't afford this, we can't afford this, becomes a language of communication, becomes the language of your belief system. So what is the new language you want to give people? You're really good at repeating things, which I think is incredibly powerful, and at the end of the day, I think, quite honestly, you are what you repeat obsessively in your head. What are some empowering things that you would want those kids to be repeating to themselves?
Who they are. Because if you don't tell yourself who you are, then you'll allow anybody else to tell you who you are.
And how do you help them find an empowering narrative to feed themselves?
Through animation, cartoons, like there's so many different avenues. But again, they've got to be able to relate to it. It can't just be like, oh, we're just going to give these people what I think they need. But it gets lost because you should do this. You should go to school and do this. You should get a good job. You should do it. And all of a sudden, they'll go to whatever has energy. Wherever the energy goes, that's where the energy flows. And, you know, what I would really want them to know is to tell themselves who they are. Like, I am powerful. I am amazing. And these are things that I'm literally working with lots of parents now. And they're like, yo, within a week, he wasn't getting bullied no more. She wasn't saying that she's ugly anymore because she stopped listening to the outside noise and she started listening to what she told herself she was. I want to be stronger than the average man. I want to have abs like an action figure, and I want to save people's lives all over the world. And I was so serious. When I left that, that's when I was stuck. That's when I was lost. When I left everything that I loved to do as a child, that's when I said I felt like something is missing the most. I like to say that anything that you love as a child is connected to your inner child, which is directly connected to source. As soon as I started doing everything that I loved, there was a surge of power, a surge of confidence. I wasn't insecure anymore because the emotion that had the most dominance in my thought process and in my heart process was actually being paid attention to.
You've said that you took total responsibility for your life.
Yeah.
When was that moment?
In the car. When I was like crying out saying, okay. Right before that, I was literally blaming my mom for the situation that I'm in right now. And they don't give parents a blueprint on how to raise kids. I didn't know that. So I blame my mom. Father was murdered. I blame him for certain things. Blame my girlfriend, blame this, blame that, blame. And I'm like, the one person I've never blamed was myself. And I was like, so maybe it's my fault. Maybe it's my fault that I am where I am. So I can't do anything about anyone else. But I can do something about me. What can I change about myself? They sentenced me to 2014, back in 2003. And I'm like, it's over. Like every dream I'd ever had, singing, modeling, acting, like any kind of inspiration, over. My daughter won't even know me. And I remember my consulate. They came in and they were like, we think you might like this book. Because by that time, I was just reading anything that would keep my mind off of being in there. I just started reading. I read a bunch of Agatha Christie books because they was just like imagination and all this kind of stuff. And I just started reading. I read the Bible cover to cover 8 times. I read the Quran cover to cover 8 times. I was like, they saying the same thing. And it was very fascinating. I just kept reading and reading. I didn't know that what was filling my brain was causing an energy inside. I had none of that because I wasn't aware. But then my consulate, they was like, we think you might like this book, Power of Positive Thinking. All I know is I'm reading this book. I'm reminded of everything that I loved as a child. I start doing it. It makes me happy. Like, super happy. I'm running, doing all this other stuff. All of a sudden, everybody started. There was less fights, less stabbings, less drug deals. And I didn't know that my own personal desire and joy was causing that to happen. I was just in it, doing what I love to do. And then we were allowed to watch, this was the shit, we were allowed to watch TV once a month. Shawshank Redemption came on. And Anthony Robbins said, they can take everything away from me. They can't take away my mind. As long as I'm doing everything I love, and I'm free.